got the signals for the Baltimore Colts. Unitas gives to Amici. The Colts are the world champions. Amici scores.
The most amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football. California won the big game.
5 seconds left in the game. You believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
This is Phil Steele.
This is Mike Burnham.
This is Wes Durham.
This is Mike Ashley.
Hi, this is Chuck Foreman, number 44 of the Minnesota Vikings.
Woo, mercy, this is handsome Jimmy Vane, the Boogie Woogie Man.
This is Coach Fry with Virginia Tech Football, and you are listening to Big Dog Sports Talk.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Okay, let's do it.
You're in the doghouse with Rick Watson on Big Dog Sports Talk, presented by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Join us in the Family Fencing Studios and chime in on the McClellan Chiropractic chat line. He's keeping cool with help from Little River Heating and Air, but this show is straight fire. And now, the big dog, Rick Watson.
How are you? Good morning. Hope everybody's doing okay. I feel like I'm... Wait a minute, what's going on? So, there we go. Does that look normal? They did a little adjustment. Yeah, that's okay. They did a little thing. Let me stop the music here. I'm going to get binged by YouTube because I let Jump Around play a little too long. Hey, good morning, everybody. Yeah, it's a little different. Let me see here. Okay, we're all right. Good morning. It's Thursday. Hey, we're getting to the weekend, as many of you said. Hit us up on the McClellan Chiropractic chat room. Hope everybody's doing great. Coming up, Andy Bitter at 7 o'clock, and then Dwight Vick at 8 o'clock. Andy, of course, from Tech Sideline. And Dwight Vick, founder of Vicktory Life. Oh, appreciate that, Prometheus. Let me get caught up on chat. Good morning, Paul. Good morning, NRBI Thunder. Yeah, I wouldn't pay any attention to the recruit. Just let that roll. It says the screen is very narrow. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know what to do about that. Screen does look smaller. Let's see what this does. How about that? Is that better? Oh, they got me side by side. So this is a new thing they've added because we've reached a certain level of views. I'm not sure it's any better. Let me know, peeps. Does it look okay? Good morning, Tina. How are you? Nice. Hope everybody's doing all right. Wherever you might be. Okay, as long as it looks the same. Prometheus says it looks the same. Thanks, Prometheus. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. All right, here we go. All right, so, hey, you know what? I'm not even going to tease it anymore. Last night I was calling soccer at Radford, California, who's playing Virginia Tech on Saturday. And this is good news for Tech. We talked about the process, and we talked about everything that they're doing. Well, that man is Pat Summerall, the head football coach at Tulane, and he has talked to the committee. He is on their radar. The football people like him a lot. This is part of the process that we talked about. This was a gentleman who early on wasn't really thought of to be a serious candidate, but things can change. Money comes into play. And this is the second official name, well, the third official name I've heard, to go along with early in the process, Ryan Silverfield, then the James Franklin scenario, and now Pat Summerall, who was the coach at Troy, and now he's the coach at Tulane. 38-10 overall, 2 programs. See how that works? Just what Phil Elmasian talked about. So what's your thoughts about that, Tech fan? Is that a good way to start the morning? I think so. I think this is good news. It just shows you, again, the extent in which the committee is doing their thing. But it's a winning percentage, by the way, that he has in college of nearly 80% of his games. He's 1-1 in bowl games. So he's a relatively young head coach. But there you go. It's good stuff. And this is part of the process. And when I get good information, I share with you what I'm told. So that's 3 that I know have been in contact. What do you think of the Tulane head coach? Do you like that? I would think that you should. There are a lot of names that I don't know about yet that they have talked to. We got a lot to get to today. A whole lot to get to. Have you seen all the stuff that's going on? The gambling situation is almost, if it weren't so serious to the integrity of collegiate sports, it would be laughable. Or maybe you can have both. We're going to get into what was released yesterday afternoon by the NCAA, the allowance and what they're letting student athletes do now with betting. Good morning, Stephen. Go Jackets. Never heard from your peeps, so I'm guessing that's a no. That's okay. I appreciate you anyway. And then we had the SEC that's permanently suspended a referee. And it's about time there's some accountability. Let's get into the second part first, shall we? Let me find, I had this thing bookmarked, if I can just find it. Whatever I did with it, I don't know. Here we go. Let's get into the first piece. All right, so this one came as a result of some very questionable things that went on during the Auburn-Georgia game, the oldest rivalry in the South. Ken Williamson, the referee in the SEC, has been permanently suspended from officiating games after making a series of controversial calls, one of which basically turned the whole game around. So basically, he directly influenced the outcome of a game. There were 9 major complaints against Williamson, validated by conference officials. In other words, even the head of officials couldn't go back and try to cover his ass. The game's biggest controversy came in the second quarter when Auburn quarterback Jackson Arnold, lost the ball near the 1-yard line during a quarterback sneak, and it was recovered by Georgia. Multiple angles from the ABC's broadcast showed that Jackson had crossed the goal line, and I saw that play because they'd been talking about it. And he reached out, and then the ball was punched out, and officials ruled it a fumble. And Georgia got the ball. That would have changed the whole game around. Had it been ruled a touchdown, Auburn would have gone up 17-0. Georgia then went down a 12-play drive, used up the quarter, and scored and closed the gap 10-3. Georgia then won the game 20-10. Officiating crews go under weekly and annual evaluations that influence future assignments, according to the SEC. Now, the conferences will not allow, public comments on officiating. He's been there 41 years, but it's pretty clear they believe that there was some cheating going on here. I mean, they won't say that. They're just going to say, well, he missed the call and didn't go back and review it. But it's pretty clear that they realize that there was some cheating going on. I don't care what any other official people, Terry McCauley can just shut the hell up, the former NFL referee. He said it was insane that they're doing this. It's insane. No accountability. In other words, anybody who's defending him that's part of the officiating community, they are They're going about their way, and what they're doing is they're just saying that nobody should be held accountable for their jobs. So I like this, more of this. We see it all the time. We saw it in my Broncos-Giants game on Sunday. The Giants got 7 first downs via penalty. They called a ridiculous pass interference call at the end of the game that gave them the opportunity to take the lead. Broncos made that ferocious 33-point rally in the fourth quarter to win the game. But there were 12 calls. Sean Payton ran out on the field. The NFL has the same problem. And what we have run into here is all the years of covering the officials and not allowing anyone to say anything. The league's not doing anything. Most of the time, the conferences won't do this. So good for the SEC. And the reason this is they knew there'd be backlash from the NFL officials and from the unions and all this crap. But the reason they did this is because they suspect foul play, but they'll never speak about that outside of the building. Let's just stop pretending and all this hush-hush bull crap that goes on. Many of these officials are not honest. They're not just missing calls, especially in the NFL. But we see it all over Saturday afternoons as well. And I know it's a hard job, and I know there are honest officials. Roger Ayers and I had a great interview several years ago, the wonderful college basketball official. He knows there are guys out there that aren't doing it the right way. He might be the best official in college basketball. But then things like this happen. I don't care if he's been doing it 41 years, and that's Terry McCauley's argument. He's been doing this a long time. How can they suspend him? He was cheating. Wow. Anyway. That's what we have. All right, so Rodney's saying I'm not full screen. Let's see here. I don't know what to do about that. I'm going to hit a bunch of different screens here, and you tell me which one's which. Group layout, crop layout. What about this one? No, that's not it. Everything looks normal to me. That's a side-by-side. Does that change anything? I don't know if I like that or not. I can see me twice. Can you see me twice when I do that right there? What's that look like to you guys? We had a bunch of things that were unleashed because we've hit an amazing amount of views and rewatches of our shows, which is great. Thank you so much. But what they have done is they have added some things that I'm not sure what it is. So what does that look like? I don't know what that means. You have 2 lives going on at once. I can hide the vertical. Now I can just see me. All I do that when I see that one, I just see myself right there. Looks the same to other people. All right, then I'm just going to roll with it. Maybe enlarge it on your phones if I look a little smaller, and I'll look at this going into tomorrow's show. But anyway, back to the officiating. I don't have any problem with it. I like to see accountability. The SEC being a front runner in this. Are we naive to think there aren't things going on in games from officials? Are we still living in that pretend world, right? It might be 2 different Prometheus is saying there's 2 different videos. Maybe there might be 2 different versions. I don't know. I only see me. I only see me. Should I try to get out and come back? Should I do that? Let's see here. I wonder if I should do that. Oh, that'd be risky. That would be risky. I don't know. I just don't know. Let me see. Let me try that. Okay, hang on just a second, fam. Let's try something here. We're gonna get out. We're gonna come back. Just everybody right. I tried. I did my best and tried, but I could not fix it for now. Everybody says on the phone it's fine. I don't know. I'll look at it and I'll see what's going on, and I'll let you know tomorrow. Okay? So we're just going to roll with it. Little change. I know they're doing it as a reward, but I thought it looked a little strange. But anyway, your thoughts on the official being suspended indefinitely, permanently? Again, you don't make that move unless you have some evidence they're not releasing yet. Let's just put it that way. That's the way it works. Coach O'Mation chiming in. Tulane, academic credibility, one climbing the ladder, good candidate with all the big-time jobs open. He will not be at Tulane. No, he will not. Pat Summerall will not be at Tulane in 2026. A Power 4 school is going to hire him. Will it be Virginia Tech? I opened the show with that little nugget because I found out late last night driving home from soccer. But that's the third contact coach that I know that Tech has made. And he's been on a lot of people's short list for a lot of jobs across the country. Yes, sir. I want to thank all of our sponsors. Get started here with Family Fencing. 540-200-8294, familyfencingnrv.com. They're going to work through the winter as well, so don't think just because of the colder temperatures it's going to change. Mark Hunley, McClellan Chiropractic, the chat room. It blows up each and every week. Thank you for that. It's great stuff. Professional Door Incorporated, sponsor of our text line, 540-391-0788. And they've been in business for 38 years. Residential and commercial car garage doors, family-owned and operated, 38 years in business. National Bank, member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner, BDST. They've been my personal bank for 35 years. The attorney Ryan Pry in Radford, 701 West Main Street. He specializes in trust and estate planning. And now we're down to below 30% people who want Shane Beamer to be the new head football coach in Blacksburg. Smart, very smart. Little River Heating and Air. Give Charles Lee a call, 540-553-2971 for all of your needs that you may have with your heating units now that it's cold every morning. It was 40 this morning. And we are presented each and every day by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. So thank you for that. Great, great stuff all the way around. I think that's everybody on there. Go see Brad Harvey at Harvey's GM in Radford. Lawson's Mobile Home Supply. Give James a call, 540-381-8011, 300 North Franklin Street. Yeah, that's what I said, Rodney. John Summerall. Summerall, however you say it. Summerall. I don't know how he says it. It's Sumrall. I'm not saying Summerall. I'm saying Summerall. Summerall? Does he say rail? I've never heard anybody say it. But anyway, go see James, 540-381-8011. I'm aware who Pat Summerall is. The NRV Super Bowl has been around for 25 years. Give him a call, 540-382-5525. Boogie bowling on my birthday, Halloween. So that's good stuff. Good morning, Opal. How are you? Tina says everything looks fine. I'm going to go with the P-Pets then. Thank you, Tina. Yes, there are a lot more scandals that are coming. I told you that, and we had the inquiry last week we talked about, right? I told you about what was coming. And did I say Pat Summerall? Okay, my apologies then. Thank you. It's because I've been concerned about all this with the screen. To me, it looks okay. I think for some people it's looking okay. For some, it's not. So my apologies. I hope it's not too much of an issue. Like I said, I appreciate them doing something. But I wish they would have not just kind of did it. I wish we could have had an option to choose from. But I hope it's not too bad for people. Yeah, John Summerall. I was saying Pat Summerall. Well, he and John Madden are my favorite announcers. So there you go. But, we had the information that came out about the longstanding college basketball, the gambling problem. Remember I told you about the group, the call I was on? I don't know. It's been like 2.5, 3 weeks ago. There's a group that goes around policing collegiate sports, and you hear updates, and I'm on that as part of the athletics administration hallway. And it's very disturbing. And I told you some things were coming, and then they released it. To their credit, they released that this probe's been going on, and they found over 125 cases of incidents in which they flagged as potential cheating. Let's just say it the way it is. And it is, man, it's tough. It's tough. It's very, very tough. Okay, so they added 2 live stream. Okay, well, that's part of it then. You know, that makes sense. That makes sense because I see other shows that I watch, and you have 2 options. Okay, all right. Okay. Well, we'll see about everything that's going into it here. Yeah, I don't think there's anything that I can do to it right now. I'll have to look at it for tomorrow. We'll just have to deal with it today. See, to me, it looks normal. I can still see the professional door text line right there. Maybe it depends on which view you're watching. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not a big fan of change, right? Not a big fan of change. I just wish they would just leave things alone. That's what I wish. They would just leave things alone and not mess with anything. I'm just trying to look here if there's anything I can do in show, and there's not really. If I do anything in show, I'm afraid I'm going to just go off the air. So we'll fix it. We'll look at it for tomorrow. Betting, Rodney says, it's going to get worse. Yeah, this thing is ridiculous. And by the way, let's get right into it because they go hand in hand. And, you know, whatever you might think, it is worse than we know. It just is. If you missed this little nugget, we knew this was coming, and I had referenced this. All right. Hokies Rock said he went out and came back and it fixed it. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. But I don't want you to have to do that every day. Thanks, Hokies Rock. Thanks for all the updates. I appreciate it. You're kind of my watchdogs because, you know, I'm looking at the camera and I'm here in the studio. So that's great. Thank you. Thank you. Let me know how this sits with you, by the way. The NCAA approved a rule late yesterday. Now athletes and athletic department staff members, we can all bet on professional sports. The NCAA. This is 2 weeks after the D1 cabinet approved the change. Division II and III management councils also signed off on it. So in other words, the NCAA is allowing bets on all professional things now. I can sit around in the office if I want to go up to my AD and say, hey, what kind of action you got on the Packers-Lions game? We're just going to do pro sports. We're not going to worry about what happens on Saturday. Right? We don't pay attention to college sports on betting. That's just crazy talk. We're allowed to bet on pro sports, so that's all anybody's going to do. Of course, despite the change, the NCAA quickly emphasized that it doesn't endorse betting on sports, particularly for student athletes. We don't endorse it, but there's not a damn thing we can do about it. Charlie Baker, the NCAA president, anticipated the rule change would be passed when he talked with the media on Monday at a Big East roundtable on the future of college basketball. He said, this change recognizes the realities of today's sports environment without compromising our commitment to protecting the integrity of college competition or the well-being of student athletes. So what I tell you we get in touch with every now and then is that integrity program, the integrity crew is what they call it. And this is what they said in lieu of this last week after we told you it was coming. The integrity crew said, we run the largest integrity program in the world on sports betting across all the various games. Sadly, we have discovered student athletes involved with some problematic activity. Cheating, Why do we have to change the words on what's going on? Here, let me fix it for you. Games are being fixed. Outcomes, scores. Shocker. Are we all stunned? Color me surprised. Because here's a decision that what all this means from the NCAA. All this means is the leagues, the power leagues in particular, the networks, ESPN. You knew this was coming, right? The biggest TV partner for the SEC, ESPN Bet. Hey, stay tuned. More coming up, Georgia and Alabama. Before we head to this break, it's very easy to have all of your betting options at your fingertips. Just download the ESPN betting app. And we're sitting here pretending that the integrity of the sport matters. We're sitting here making this is how completely moronic the NCAA is, and they have been for a long time. They are allowing betting on everything, and they're trying to say, hey, we're not going to allow it on college sports. Wayne, jerseys with the DraftKings patch coming next. That might be true. That might be true. It is problematic what we're seeing out of the people that are supposed to be policing our games. That's what's problematic. Because they're just looking at the money to be gained from the apps, from FanDuel, from ESPN Bet, from Caesars, you name it, whatever it might be. And when the SEC suspends indefinitely a referee who's done it for 4 decades, they found cheating. They know what a scandal that would cause. But if there were 9 complaints and calls that they looked at even on replay and they didn't change for whatever reason, this is why this whole thing the ACC has gone to in certain broadcasts, when they take us inside the reviews and you can hear the conversation, we're going to have that now in every league. This isn't going to be an isolated thing. It's going to become more normal because it's going to be in such demand. All the televised games are going to have to include that. Okay, we're going up to the booth. Let's let you listen in. And there shouldn't be any league that would kind of fight against that. Shouldn't be any officiating commissioner, right? Every conference has someone in charge of officiating. There shouldn't be one that in any way, shape, or form would fight against that. Because it is cool, right? We go up there, and we've heard it. We heard it during I don't know if we've heard it during a Tech game yet. Maybe we will on Friday, tomorrow night. But, UVA Florida State, I think, was the first time I saw it. May have been a Clemson game. It's awesome. When they put the headphone on, they start looking under the hood, and then they go up to the booth and they show you the booth. That's cool. We're going to have more of that. Hokey Bob, hey, Waterboy, be sure to collect the refs parlay cards at halftime. Man, oh man, oh man. Unbelievable. But in any event, that's where we are. That's where we are. And it's very troubling what's going on. It's very, very troubling. And if you don't think it's going on in officiating, I don't know what to tell you. Now, it also affects my Broncos. Not only did they get completely hosed on Sunday by the officials, I mentioned 7 first downs given to the Giants, the pass interference. Dre Greenlaw, who they signed in free agency, all pro with the 49ers, finally was eligible to play. At the end of that game, after the winning kick, Justin Cernad, the linebacker from Wake, who had a big interception to help change the game around, was running up to the dog pile. They happened to run into the referee. The referee reaches out and shoves him. He shoved him. He made contact. Now, this is during the celebration, so Cernad's got a uniform on. I'm sure he didn't feel it. Right? He didn't feel it. Greenlaw saw it. So he kind of trotted back whenever he was trying to get off the field. And Greenlaw, you could read his lips. Why did you touch me? He said, why did you touch my boy, is what he said. And then he turned around. He gets suspended for the Cowboys game because they said that he approached an official after the game who threw a flag after the game and used vile language. Well, yeah, because the official initiated contact with Cernad. But yet the NFL stood up for the official and punished, and now Greenlaw is suspended for the big game against the Cowboys. Accountability of the officials. We've been asking for it for years and years and years. Maybe it's starting to come now. Maybe the SEC is going to be trendsetters again. They're trendsetters and everything else because they rule college athletics. And maybe this whole thing by suspending an official indefinitely, maybe that's going to start sending a message. I don't care how upset the officials are. I don't care. It should not be part of the game. The less we know you're on the field, the better you are at doing your job. It shouldn't be the other way around. You shouldn't have to watch, and I do it all the time in NFL games. You watch a big play by your team. Again, it happened to the Broncos when they gifted the Colts a win with a missed 60-yard field goal. They said we were in an illegal stacking formation defending the field goal. It was a personal foul, 15-yard penalty. Then the Colts kicker with no time had a second chance and nailed it because it was a chip shot then. Then the Broncos lost the game. They're just making stuff up as they go along. Tina, you're right. The Chiefs thing is true. There's a University of Texas, El Paso just did a 10-year study, or since Pat Mahomes has been in the league, about the advantageous flags that the Chiefs get or don't get. And then Chief fan says, there's no proof in that. That's ridiculous. They're making things up. I don't know. I'm going to call again today, Prometheus, about the shirts. Well, he wasn't wearing a Chiefs uniform, Rick, so what do you expect? Well, it's true. Yeah, so Greenlaw went after it. You can see it. It went viral. It went absolutely viral. And all he did was take a few steps. He did. He trotted after the official and said, why did you touch my guy? What are you doing? He didn't run down the field and make contact and get in his face, but the NFL suspended Greenlaw. That's not going to go over very well with the Players Association. Roger Goodell is just an absolute idiot. Got up there yesterday defending the whole Bad Bunny nonsense or halftime. Joseph says one of the worst calls I've seen is the Georgia coach calling a timeout, and he said that it wasn't. So what happened? So in other words, was Kirby Smart called a timeout? Oh, yeah. And the official said no. Is that right? Or something like that. I saw that too. Was that a different Georgia game or was that game? Paul says the other live stream is like a TikTok type. At least now you're moving up. You're moving up with the ladies putting on makeup. Did I unofficially create a TikTok account? Is that what I've done? Unintentionally? We now have a TikTok account? They added sounds to my thank you. Wow, we're moving up in the world, man. Are we climbing up the YouTube ladder with all the views? We're crushing all the metrics, by the way. Thanks to you. We need more subscribers. Again, if it's free, remember, subscribe to the channel. It's free. There you go. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Rick Watson apparently is now a TikToker. Correct. For me, this is as well said as you can say it. There are penalties in every play. Likely you are correct. It's the ref's job to figure out if the foul affected the play. Sometimes the fouls away from the play are absurd. That's right. There's going to be holding. There's going to be some little things. They look for the obvious calls. The things you can't not throw a flag on. That is 100% correct. You said it very, very well. We're not naive to that, but man, the officials are doing way, way too much to influence games. From the Cascades of Little Stony Creek to the chilly deep water of Claytor Lake, and now the crystal blue waters in Palm Coast, BDST is on the air. It's all right, Morris. Good to see you. Morris, if you want to put in chat, I don't know how they would get them about your ticket giveaway. Anyway, I appreciate that. That's awesome by you. Okay, Jimmy says that was the Georgia-Auburn game. There you go. Hey, Tootie, good morning. How are you? Do we have 91 people in here? You see that up there? Is that right? It's the TikTok crowd. They're just blown away right now. Wait a minute. This guy's doing a show. What? Where's all the pictures of him that are, looking at himself in the mirror? I think what happened, because we hit a certain metric, we've automatically got expanded on other platforms. That's awesome. Jim says you really have to love the game of football to be an official at any level these days. You do, but Jim, we're not talking about most of the officials. We're not talking about most of the officials. We're talking about, all the officials. So Paul says 32 on the regular stream. I'm seeing 84 up in my upper right. I don't know. There's no accountability. There's no direction from the NFL to make the officials full-time. I know it's a little more difficult for the conferences, but there's so much money that's there. Look, we're finding out there's more the money that's there. Right? We know. Coach Omation talked about it. They wouldn't be saying, hey, here's your buyout if they didn't already have it somewhere in a treasure chest. None of these buyouts, in most cases, are a big deal. I mentioned in the open, in case you missed it, John Summerall is now confirmed to have been in contact with the committee, the head coach at Tulane. That's the third gentleman that I know that has been confirmed to be part of the committee or to be contact with the committee. Due diligence indeed taking place. I think he would be an outstanding hire. He did it at Troy. He's kept Tulane going. They are a factor in their league. Everybody I've talked to around the industry, very, very surprised too, by the way, that Wisconsin and Florida State didn't go ahead and make a move, because they know it's both. They're coming at the end of the year. I guess they just want to deal with it all right now. It's disappointing for those fans, but I get it. There's a reason why. Maybe it's, and I don't think there's people speculating that maybe that they're scrambling to raise the money. I don't think so. I think they're just trying to figure out what they want to do going forward. And this is to the point too. These refs used to be invisible. Now they think they are auditioning to be the next expert. Well, that could be some of that. They did. They wanted, in the past, every official would tell you, if you don't know I'm out here, we're doing a great job. And that's what, when I've talked to college officials, and I talk to the officials before every game Radford plays, I like to say, hey, and just kind of get a feel for them. And Roger Ayers told me that. If you go one broadcast, Rick, because we watch your broadcast, they watch broadcast. They want to hear what people say. If you go a broadcast, you don't mention the officials, we go back and go, we did our job. And that's a guy who's the best, who does it right. Now for some reason. I don't know what it is. Is it because of the jealousy, the money that's being made? I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. Jimmy, Florida is completely focused on Lane Kiffin now. Yeah. Marcus Freeman immediately turned him down. That was confirmed yesterday. It was all over X. The first call they made right after they fired Billy Napier was to Notre Dame's Marcus Freeman. He said, look, I'll take your call. He's a very respectful guy, but I have absolutely no interest in leaving South Bend. So I don't think he's going anywhere. I don't know what Penn State's going to do. I have no idea what they're going to do. None. Because it's almost like they got rid of James Franklin without realizing the candidate pool that was out there, who they could logically achieve, if that makes sense. So it's a very strange thing, a very, very strange thing. But again, Tech's going to have a good football coach. People are asking me all day, you got any more info? Well, no, I didn't. When I get credible info, I share it here. Like last night was very credible info. After California beat Radford 6-1. They were good, Len. Cal Bears playing Tech on Sunday. They're going to be in the NRV quite a while. They're going to be at the game tomorrow night, filling the stands in the Cal side, too. You'll see the California soccer team there supporting the Bears. Yeah, I don't think Freeman's going anywhere. I think if you turn down Florida that quickly, you're at Notre Dame. I mean, and this is coming from a non-Notre Dame guy. What better job in the country is there than Notre Dame? Just because it's the SEC, does that make it a better job? I don't think so. Look at all the pressure. Look how quickly they fire coaches. You're at Notre Dame, the school that's allowed to be part of the playoff by not being part of the conference, the one school that has more power than Greg Sankey. Don't come back and hit me with they haven't been a national title contender. We're not talking about results. We're just talking about the it. Joseph, you know I'm right. Notre Dame is a more powerful entity than anything happening in college sports in terms of the power struggle. If they weren't, they wouldn't be allowed to have their own separate set of rules. It's pretty simple. They're always going to get the benefit of the doubt. And if you're Coach Freeman, who's done a nice job, there's a lot of questions around his hiring. You know, he was a coordinator, he wasn't a head coach, but he has grown into that job very, very well. And that's a pressure-packed gig. Notre Dame is awesome, Morris said. There you go. Morris, thank you. Notre Dame, Brian Kelly, he left Notre Dame to go to the SEC. Right? How's that working out for him? He showed up on the hot seat list after that performance last week down at Vanderbilt. He got Diego Pavied. Tech knows all about being Diego Pavied ×2. Wayne says, I think one advantage Tech has is that other big programs may be looking for coaches and positions and have to wait till season's end to get them. I think Tech is going to be able to get somebody that they want, and it's not going to be affected by other jobs as much as we think. And I'm with you, Wayne. I think yesterday, by the way, thank you so much. I got so much response from Matt Rohn, the director of athletics at JMU yesterday. How great was he? Coach O'Mason, if you're watching, I'll call you back. I didn't get a chance to call you back yesterday. It was game day. I know he was blown away by Matt Rohn. I think we all were. He's always good. Yeah, did you get Diego Pavied? I just made that up. That shows up on a shirt. I won't I won't credit if that shows up on a shirt. Did you get Diego Paviad? Yeah. Own network, no conference, part-time ACC. Rick, I don't understand. How is Notre Dame treated differently? They've now scammed 2 conferences into creating their Olympic sport, non-football sport schedules for them because of the brand. Their brand is that big. And they do. Yeah, Notre Dame seems to, yeah, they will. If they will be a little more patient. They will. They will. They'll be a little more patient. So now the NCAA is saying gambling's okay, but we don't want you gambling on college sports. So when you go through all the NFL games, you know, if all these student athletes are looking at their app on a Friday or a Thursday, and, you know, you go through and there's all those sections, right? NFL, college football, college basketball. They're going to ignore all that and go right to the pro games. Just wow. Rudy is the worst movie ever made about sports that people think is good. Rudy and the Natural. Rest in peace, Robert Redford. Looking at Summerall, he played linebacker at Kentucky, so he should be a defensive-minded coach. Yeah, he's good. So you look at the candidate, right? Ryan Silverfield really got hurt by that loss on Saturday. That was inexcusable for an undefeated team that was ranked to lose to UAB by 20. They were 22.5-point favorites. James Franklin, who's talking to everybody, and now John Summerall. That's the 3 that I know that has contact with the committee. Yep. Morris says, Brian Kelly. Let me go back here. We're getting a lot of comments. This is great. Brian Kelly is like Babcock's last 2 hires. He stuck his 6-cylinder dipstick into a V8. Doesn't work well. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I didn't look at that, Paul, but yeah, there's a guy who's been in the G League who got recruited by Louisville. He's not going to play for Louisville. Pat Kelsey. And, of course, Tom Izzo ripped Kelsey yesterday. 40th anniversary of Back to the Future. Yeah. I saw your popcorn bucket. I bet you that thing's $80. The Fantastic Four movie, they had a Galactus head, and that was like $80 to buy it. A popcorn bucket? Really? Hey, it's our BDST legal counsel, Richie Davis. Rick, I don't know if you answered. Was I asked the question before? What are my thoughts on Jamie Chadwell? He's probably not in line to be considered for the Tech job. I mean, he's a good coach. They went, if I'm not mistaken, in his first year, didn't they go undefeated and play Oregon in a New Year's Day Bowl? Is that right? I believe they followed up the next year after he lost about half of that team and won 8 games. They lost even more players this year. They're starting to find their way in conference. I like him, but I don't think he's going to be included in the Tech cycle this time. No. Hey, Buck Wild for Kirk to leave. Welcome in the chat. Look at Freeman's recruits for next year alone. A lot of NFL Hall of Famers kids are coming to Notre Dame. Yeah, he's recruiting his tail off. I would think that being the head coach at Notre Dame gives you such an advantage in recruiting. Absolutely. Absolutely. No, Mark Stoops will not be the head coach in Blacksburg. I don't know who started that. That's not going to happen. Prometheus, I like Chadwell. Unfortunately, Tech needs a bigger name for money. Yeah, they've done a lot. Daniel says I sound like a coach. No. I've helped out on the Auburn staff many years ago. When Jack Turner was here, he needed some help, so I went up there and helped. Yeah. But no, Chadwell's a really good coach. He's just kind of dealing with some roster attrition. I think Liberty's going to finish okay in their league. I still think they'll go to a bowl. I mean, wouldn't you take 3 straight years going to a place like Liberty when Hugh Freeze left them kind of in a lurch? You remember all that hit right before the Tech game at the end of the year? That's one of the reasons Liberty kids kind of quit in that game. Tech got the win. He comes in. They go and play Oregon, and they got blown out by Oregon, but Liberty was playing in a New Year's Day ball. He lost, 15 starters. They won 8 games. They went to what? Was it the Bahamas Bowl? Am I remembering that right? In year 2, and now here next year, they've kind of treaded water a little bit, but they are 2-1 in their league, I think. But I don't think he's going to be part of this cycle, no. He would have been part, I would have thought, more so when they ended up hiring Brent Pry. Quote that, Rick helped with Auburn. He's a Freeze homer. I think Freeze is out. I think he's gone. Thank you, Daniel. He says I should be a coach for a high school team. To be honest, I don't think Chadwell wants to leave Liberty. I think he likes where he is. I'll say this: he's an intense man of faith. He's at a Christian university. Again, a lot of times the way we perceive jobs and we perceive interest and so forth isn't what the individual is, isn't what the individual thinks. Does that make sense? So you kind of have to go with it both ways. So let me let Andy know I just sent the invite. There we go. Just sent the invite. Just sent the invite. There we go. But Chadwell's he's a good coach. He's a good coach. I don't think he wants to leave Liberty. I think he's at a place that he and his family respect, and we'll see. We'll see. We don't know what the aspirations of these people are, right? We don't know. We transfer our own interjections on what they should do, but on what we would do if we were in that situation, but that doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't. For a lot of these coaches, they already have a lot of money. I think I saw, who was it yesterday? Was going around saying, look, I got all this money. I don't have to have money at all. I just want to go and coach again. I can't remember which coach that was. I saw that yesterday on X. There was an article about it. I can't remember. May have been Jimbo Fisher. Hokies rock. Little League Super Bowls are Saturday starting at 10 at Floyd County High School. Okay, thank you, Hokies rock. So 3 games, 10, 12, and 2. Now that's going to be fun. The Little League Super Bowls. That's awesome. That's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. I don't know if I would have ever called Coach Pry a great defensive coordinator, Prometheus. I think he was solid. He was a co-defensive coordinator, too. Keep that in mind. Joseph says, I'd like to see the NCAA rule that kids have to play in the bowl game. Yeah, I mean, this whole thing. like I said, when they come out and officially make the announcement that betting's okay on professional sports, but we want you to stay away from college. I mean, I don't know what kind of world we're living in. Morris says he went to the Notre Dame game in 17 when Fuente's team played there. Yeah, football relevance at Notre Dame's at a different place. Hey, congrats. That's right. Woo-woo says your daughter's the kicker. Yeah, she's good too. I walked up there to the game on Friday against George Wythe, man. She's got a strong leg. Congratulations, woo-woo. That's great. She's got a strong leg. I mean, she's knocking that thing through about, 20 yards, 30 yards through, too. That's awesome. That's awesome. Great stuff. All right, coming up, Dwight Vick will join us at 8 o'clock. Great conversation this morning, man. Chat has just exploded. Like I said, we're destroying all of our metrics. Thank you so much. We got to get our subscription level up, but that'll come. So thank you. Thank you so much. Joining us now on the program from Tech Sideline. There he is. Speaking of terrific and outstanding, he is the lead writer for Tech Sideline, Andy Beater. What's that, baby? Good morning.
Not much. I woke up this time. I remembered.
It's okay, man. No problem. No problem at all.
I like last week, it was fall break. So my daughter was off. So I'm putting her to bed on Wednesday night. And I'm like, I got nothing to wake up for tomorrow. This is great. We'll sleep in. And then I woke up and I saw the message and like, oh, I completely forgot about that.
Hey, trust me, when your kids come in, my son's in college. He came in and the whole house, the whole weekend got showed upside down. You're just like, what? Stop. Yeah, I get it. Don't worry about it. It's all right.
The bad part is like, oh, I get to sleep in. I still woke up at like 7:50.
I know.
I'm like, my 22-year-old self is like, you pathetic old man. That's the latest you can sleep is 7:50. It's embarrassing.
I know. I'm the same way. Well, how'd you enjoy the bye week? I know you watched football, right? I mean, you had to take a deep breath and just kind of go, all right, this is cool. This feels good.
Yeah, that's all I did was sit around and watch football. Honestly, that's all I'm going to do this weekend too is sit around and watch football because
that's right.
At first I was like against these Friday night games, like, oh, that's high school football territory. And now I'm like, I don't care. Now I get to cover the game, be done with it, have all Saturday, sit around and watch football. So I don't care. I like it. This is better than Thursdays, even I think, because Thursdays are like really sort of a mad scramble to get everything done by the time that game starts. Friday, it's like, that's not that much different from playing an early game on Saturday. So I like it. Yeah, gives me a chance to watch a bunch of football.
And it's not going away because the NFL has just taken over Thursday. So you're going to have those minor conferences, if you will, on Thursday, and you're going to have this all the time now going forward. There's going to be more Friday games, right, going forward.
Yeah, I think, college, the ACC especially has kind of found something on Friday nights. I don't think the SEC wants to go there yet. So if you're the ACC and you have to find spots that you can really get primetime games, Fridays are working. And I think that the schools, now that they have these success initiatives and viewership initiatives, they look at it and they go, hey, Friday is actually a pretty good. I mean, that UVA Florida State game did numbers. That was like 4.5 million people or something like that. And that's gonna work very well for them rather than playing noon on the CW or whatever it is, what kind of ratings you're going to get on that, or like a 6 o'clock ACC network game that nobody watches. You go on Friday night on ESPN, everybody's going to see that.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So you had a great chat the other day. We had Till on yesterday and some of the things he was saying, and he explained his comment. A lot of people loved it, what he was talking about, what the next coach needs to bring to the table, and he compared it to, what happened with Pittsburgh and Coach Tomlin. So it was a nice thought, wasn't it? It was kind of gives you something to think about a little bit, and that might be something that ends up swaying this committee at the end.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to. What exactly was Teal talking about? We talked about a lot.
The part where when he talked to Mike Tomlin, who he knows very well, and he didn't think he was going to get the job. It's like,
that part. Yeah,
that part.
Yeah. And that's part of it. It's like, I don't know where this thing's going to go. We all have our candidates and we all think, oh, this is the guy that you have to hire. And, the last couple of hires, Brent Pry was out of nowhere, kind of.
Yeah.
Mike Young didn't seem like an obvious choice. Buzz Williams came out of nowhere when they hired him at Virginia Tech. So, these coaching searches kind of take twists and turns that are unexpected. We list people that make sense, but that doesn't mean we know everybody that's looking right now. What if there's somebody that's been in a job for a while? It's like, you know what, I'm trying to get out here, because they know that there's that, 6, 7, 8 years, 9 years. You're like, okay, people are getting tired of you at this point. It's time to get out and try to find a job. So this is why agents are always working behind the scenes when stuff comes open like this. And there might be candidates that we're not even talking about that could be, up for this job. I think the obvious ones are like, well, James Franklin doesn't have a job. He wants to coach. Well, it's obvious somebody's going to be landing him or pursuing him in this whole market. Shane Beamer makes sense because of his name and the connection here and everything. Even though, again, I don't think he's going to leave South Carolina voluntarily.
No.
But and then there are other ones that are more obvious, like Alex Golish trying to move up, John Sumrall, Bob Chesney, who I think I'm warming to more and more. The more I see how he's operated and look into his history, it's just like, are we overcomplicating this whole thing?
I know.
Would it just be easy to hire the guy from up the road and go?
Both guys.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this could be double dip. You get both done. And, JMU has been a successful athletic department. Why not just take part of that success, pay it a little bit more? It might just be, hey, make this real quick and simple. So
exactly.
Of course, these aren't quick and simple searches, but they take turns that sometimes you just don't know how it's going to go.
Well, let me ask you, AB, and what do you think the best logical time frame is? I get asked a lot. People are saying it's going to happen early. I said, no, I don't think so. I think it's going to go a little bit. I think it has to, like you're talking about. Guys have jobs potentially. They're not just going to. You think we're going to just be looking at the 1st of December, somewhere around there in mid-December? I guess when the first domino falls, then more will happen.
Yeah, what's I forget the regular season, the last game, where that falls this year.
Might be that first week of December, yeah.
November 29th is the Virginia game.
Okay.
Saturday. Everybody plays games that weekend. I mean, if you have this thing wrapped up, and I'm not naive enough to say that they're not back channel conversations and things like that, I could see them announcing somebody November 30th or December 1st. I could see them agreeing to terms with somebody quietly before that. But if it's somebody who has a job right now, they're not leaving that before the end of the season. They're not announcing that before the end of the season.
Right.
Even if there are rumors and stuff. If it's James Franklin, yeah, you can go hire him right now because there's nothing stopping you from doing that. There's no repercussions for a coach, accepting a job somewhere else. But if it's, Shane Beamer, or if it's John Sumrall or Alex Golish, who have jobs right now and are coaching, and, those last two could be coaching for a while, even beyond the end of the regular season. You're not going to hear about that officially until those seasons are over. So I think the firing so early of Brett Pry has kind of thrown everybody off their schedule. Normally, a coach gets fired and you have a new one in within like 7 to 10 days. It is really quick. It's a speed process. I know Whit Babcock has likened it to speed dating before, where you got to make this, massive, important, multi-million-dollar decision, and you've got to do it in the span of like a week and a half. It's not the case when you fire a coach on September 13th. You've got all season and you've got to wait the whole time. There is just a regular time limit to this whole coaching search that, even though everybody has jobs open right now, they're going to have to wait. They're going to have to wait until the end of the season, because that's when jobs change hands.
Andy Bitter joining us on the program. Of course, the lead football beat writer for Tech Sideline. I agree. You can't rush it because of what else is happening, and the time frame doesn't allow you to rush it right now because of the reality of it. But so we'll see. Were you surprised? I don't know if surprise is the right word, but what did you think of Florida State and Wisconsin saying, we're not going to do anything now, but boy, we're going to assess things as soon as the season's over? Kind of an ominous thing. Phil Mason went up to a former Wisconsin staff member who won those Rose Bowls with Barry Alvarez, and he was up there for the big celebration, and he said it's pretty much an assumed thing that Luke Fickell's out of there, but they're going to stick to him right now going to the end of the season. I just wanted to get your thoughts on those two announcements. It kind of came within an hour of each other, that both will stay at least throughout the course of the season.
Yeah, funny you mention Elmasian, because he called me last week because he was going up there, because he'd heard me talking on either this show or whatever, saying I was a Wisconsin graduate, and I didn't. He's coached everywhere, so I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't put 2 and 2 together. He coached at Wisconsin when I was a student there.
Oh, that's great.
First started to run. One of my first stories was about Jason Doring, who's a walk-on safety, and that was Elmation's big stud starter that he like pulled out of nowhere to start the season. So I might have talked to him back in the day. I don't even remember. I feel like it would have been a memorable conversation if I talked to him. But
that's great, man.
Stupid reporter at the time. A little surprised about Wisconsin. I know that's a big buyout, but that situation is dire. They haven't scored a point the last 2 weeks. Like they have a gas discount promotion with Wisconsin football that for every point they score, they take like a cent off of the price of gas.
The gas companies love Luke Fickell.
Some people are taking pictures of the gas, like, thanks to Luke Fickell for another week of full-priced gas. They've lost 37-0 to Iowa and 34-0, I believe it was, to Ohio State. 71-0. Like, 65-0 run in 2 games got Brett Fry fired against Vanderbilt. No, I understand Ohio State is great. They're the best team in the country right now. Iowa doesn't score 37 points in like 3 weeks. You gave it up in 1 week?
I know.
I think part of this is, I still think Fickell's done eventually, and he has to be because the results have been so horrible. And I don't know how anybody could have predicted that.
I'm so surprised by that. Yeah.
But they travel to Oregon this week. That's not going to be pretty. They play Washington at home after that. Like maybe they could score a point in that game. I don't know. And then they go to Indiana after that. So they play what's Oregon right now? 3, 5, whatever they are.
Yeah, whatever they are.
Number 2, Indiana. So maybe they just don't want an interim coach to wear that. They're like, no, Fickell, you're going to stick around, and this is going to be on your resume here.
That's true.
I just they play those 2, and then they have Minnesota at the end of the year. And if you get beaten down by Minnesota, the rivalry game for the Axe, the fan sentiment is already terrible. Add those 3 beatings to it, they're going to have to move on. I don't care what Barry Alvarez says. It's like, oh, you've never coached, you've never played, you don't know anything. You have to move on at that point. It's just, I can't imagine how many of the donors you're going to lose at that point.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Florida State, I think it feels like such a bad situation down there. I think
it really does.
I think I look at the schedule. I think they could pull out of it a little bit here. If they could win some games, they go Wake Forest this week. I don't think it's an overwhelming schedule the rest of it. They play Virginia Tech. That's a winnable game. Florida at the end of the year, which, goodness, they both could have interim coaches at that point. I forget the other game. Maybe North Carolina. So there's another winnable game, I think, on there. Yeah. So maybe they can make some headway here in the second half of the season. But, what's Castellanos' injury situation? I mean, he got knocked out in that Stanford game. He just got drilled. I mean, it was a pretty cheap shot, sliding like that. And the quarterback gets knocked out, but he's knocked out nonetheless. So you're missing your starting quarterback potentially. I don't know how he's going to be missing. Stanford's a terrible team. They went out there and lost to Stanford. Right. At a certain point, you have to go. I mean, this guy had them 13-0 a couple years ago, but they're 1-10 in the ACC the last 2 years. That's incredible. How far they've fallen, and it's like, oh, they really got screwed over by the committee a couple years ago. It's like, okay, but get over it and find some new players and move on. And he hasn't been able to do that. That's historically not a program that's taken losses like that too lightly. So I feel like maybe they have to, but what's the buyout, like $59 million or something like that? I mean, it's a lot of money. Couldn't happen to a better athletic department. I think a lot of ACC fans are sitting around just smiling about this whole thing. It's going, you think you're better than us, huh? And this is what your football program has been reduced to. It's like, oh, you're so great. I'm sure the ACC or the SEC and the Big Ten will come calling for your 1-10 in the ACC football program. They can't win in the ACC. They're going to watch you in those other programs. Everybody's probably just smiling greatly right now in the ACC.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Wow, so much to get to. I got to get into this ruling. I wish we had AMAC on here at the same time, because the NCAA is now saying, hey, everybody, you know what? It's just great. You can bet on anything you want. Just stay away from college sports, athletes. Here we are. They knew the money that's out there with the betting. We knew it was going to happen eventually. This is just so typical of the NCAA to put something out like this.
Well, I mean, it was common sense. And I wrote that Alan Tisdale story a couple of years ago, which was one of, honestly, I stumbled across it, but it was one of the first stories of like an athlete getting suspended for betting on pro sports. And you look at what Alan was betting on. It was like NBA finals games over the summer. And I think it was like $250 to $400 total that he bet over like the NBA finals. And you're going, he's losing college eligibility for this? It's like, what is your logic? I couldn't even understand the logic of it. And they go, well, they could have friends in the NBA or something. I was like, what are you talking about? This makes no sense. Like, you're getting insider knowledge from NBA.
Right.
Like, it makes no sense. And like, if you want to sit around and say these are college athletes and they're just students, just like the rest of the population, then you have to allow them to do things that other students are able to do. Alan Tisdale was an adult of legal age in a state that allowed sports gambling, and he bet on the NBA finals. And it cost him initially 9 games of eligibility in college football, and they reduced it to 6, which is asinine. After he self-reported.
Right.
He wasn't trying to like dodge the act. He went to Brent Pry's office after they gave the presentation and said, I think I screwed up, coach. And they went to the NCAA and they're like, we're thinking maybe like 2 games, maybe 3. And they gave him 9. It's like, why would anybody ever turn themselves in then at that point? And beyond that, why should anybody have to turn themselves in? It's gambling. It's not the end of the world on this thing. And I understand, don't gamble in college sports. Yeah, I agree with that logic. Even if it's not a sport that you're in, you're engaged with too many people in college that could know something or that, leads down a bad path or something like that. Obviously, don't bet on your own sport. That's the very, that's how you can get into, shady competition and, levels like, oh, we're going to throw shade points here and lose games that way. I think that's where things can get problematic. But, allowing somebody to play some bets on the World Series, if you're a college basketball player, what's the harm? And I think the NCAA realized, they have this huge scandals with Iowa and stuff like that they're suspending 30 some players or whatever it is. At a certain point, you have to go, this is unenforceable. And why should we have to enforce this? So, kudos for the NCAA for finally coming around and getting ahead of this. But as usual, they're behind on the whole thing because this should have been done a couple years ago.
Well, my problem is the naivety to think that this is just going to be limited to pro sports. Like, they think that people are just going to stop. Okay, we can do pro sport. We're going to ignore all the college games. It's just so stupid to think that guys aren't going to just say, "Oh, I can bet now." They're just going to bet on college games.
Well, I mean, they were doing that anyway. I mean, you saw
exactly.
through that Iowa thing. It's like, my brother had an account or my parent had an account. I mean, they're going to find gambling's here. It's going to happen. Like, trying to stop it. And honestly, I think I'd rather have it on these legal apps where it's like a bank account. You put money in there, and then you can't over withdraw it. You can't be down like, oh, I'm down $10,000 that I don't have.
Let me put another 10 on.
Right. No, but it's like you have to put that money in there, and then you can lose it. You're not going to a bookie and they're like,
right.
You're in the whole $10,000 that you don't have, that I staked you for this. How are you going to pay this back? And then the bookie goes, this is how you can pay me back. Don't win by 14 in this basket. Like, that's where you get into trouble with this stuff. I don't think, these gambling accounts are like a debit card. Like, the money has to be in there and then you lose it after that. So I think if you put this above board, I think you figure out times where the Alabama coach tips off some moron that bets $10,000 because of a pitching change at the last second. And these places that never get more than $100 ever, like total on college baseball games, are going, Somebody bet $10,000 on this Alabama game.
Yeah.
That's a red flag. That's how they catch people doing this stuff. So if you're doing it like that, it can be caught. And if it's, black market type stuff or offshore type stuff, not offshore, but like, illegal bookies, it's not going to get caught like that. So I think the more you standardize this, the more you put it out in the open, the easier it is to stop any sort of illegal activity.
Speaking of college baseball, Tony Vitello going from Tennessee to San Francisco.
That was strange.
Your thoughts?
That was happening. And I'm like, I don't remember that happening. I don't think it has in the way that had. Like, I guess Dick Hauser back in the day.
But he had a major league career,
Yeah, that was a very strange move, but more power to. And then it comes out that he was making like $3 million a year at Tennessee, and it's like, why is a baseball coach making $3 million? Like, I realize Tennessee is good, but they can't produce that much revenue at Tennessee. Why are they paying him so much there? Just another sign how out of whack economics are in college, that they're paying coaches this much. But it'll be interesting to see, interesting experiment to see how the Giants respond to a guy who didn't play in the majors and came from the college ranks.
Well, now we can get around to Cal and Tech. We had so much going on. I wanted to catch up to you about. You got to watch the Bears. You got some offensive pieces, but Tech has maintained their 4.5, 5-point favorites. What did you think of Cal first and foremost when you watched them against the Tar Heels?
I only saw them a little bit because I fell asleep at halftime because those games are so late. The quarterback slings it around, makes some plays every now and then. I think that defense is feistier than we give them credit for. I don't think Cal's a great team by any means. They lost to San Diego State 34-0.
Right.
Which came out of nowhere, but they've also won some games. I mean, they beat BC, they beat North Carolina, and I realize these aren't great ACC teams, but I cover Virginia Tech. That's not a great ACC team. They have that strange, not strange because Duke is good, but they got beat down by Duke at home in that game. So that probably tells you kind of where the Bears are in this whole thing. But I think they're better than I thought they were. And 5-2 right now. I think that already exceeded expectations a lot of people had for Cal coming into this season. So you have a big overhaul on the roster. They lost their quarterback, lost their running back, and everybody's like, doom and gloom. Cal's going to be terrible. Ron Rivera is looking over Justin Wilcox's shoulder as a GM. Like, who has the power there? And they're 5-2 right now. I mean, you can't argue with it too much. I think that's a lot better than people have thought.
And they've come east before. I know it's a pain. Heck, the Cal soccer team was in town. They played Radford last night. They're playing Tech. We talked to their coaches. They're going to be at the game Friday, so they're used to it by now, traveling from one end of the country to the other. So Tech, hopefully they got a little healthier, right? Have you heard any updates? I know they had some guys banged up, so the bye week came at a really good time for those guys. Yeah,
I mean, you look at the injury report that came out last night, and it's smaller than it was before. I was a little surprised to see Thomas Williams in the probable candidate column, the way he left the Georgia Tech game, and it looked like they went and took him to get x-rays at the Georgia Tech locker room, and he was on the sideline on crutches. You're going, oh man, this might be a season ender here. And now he's probable for this week. Cam Selden's probable, Terrion Stewart, still missing Montavious Cunningham, so this offensive line, which has been shorthanded all year, is going to continue to be shorthanded, but it at least looks like you're getting some pieces back, that you're not missing 21 guys or whatever it was the last time out.
Good crowd. Should be a good crowd, right? People have had a week off to wait. What do you expect? You think Tech, is this their last best chance maybe to get a win? Look at the schedule.
Yes, absolutely it is. And, it's a sort of like last best weather game too. I mean, I know it'll but I guess November 1st, it shouldn't be, a week later, it's not going to be terrible when they host Louisville as well. But, I feel like this should be a pretty good crowd. I mean, if people get up for these night games, Friday night, I think it's a little bit easier to get to than a Thursday night, where a lot of people would have to work Friday. It's like, well, how am I going to do that? How am I going to get to this game and get back? And now you have Saturday afterwards. You have to worry about that. So, I think it would be a good crowd. I don't know if I don't think it's been announced as a sellout or anything like that. I can't imagine it will be, but last best chance for a win, because what do they have at home after this? Louisville, which is pretty good, just beat Miami, and Miami, still top 10, I believe. So this is their chance to get a W at home, I think. And if not, it's going to be a long November.
Yeah, it could be. Have you made your official pick yet? Your official score?
I went on a Cal podcast the other day and sort of on the spot, I said Cal 24, Virginia Tech 23.
Oh, okay.
And, I just don't trust the Hokies right now. I got to see, like,
no, it's fair.
Not like there's a reason to be like, oh man, I got a lot of faith in these guys. And also, I realize they're favored in this game. I've been wrong all season on Virginia Tech. I'm
Me
just
too.
like,
Me too.
oh, they're going to compete against Vanderbilt. Then they don't. It's like, all right, well, they'll bounce back against ODU. Well, no. They go to no chance at NC State. They win that game. All right, well, now they got together against Wake Forest, lose to Wake Forest. It's like, I'm all over the place. I'm like zigzagging, trying to catch up with the results. I thought the line was kind of weird on this one. I guess I know Cal is not great, but they've still won some games, and the Hokies haven't. And I think that's a skill at certain points. I'm picking Cal on a close one. I think it'll be close either way. And let's see who can pull out the one-score win.
No, I think that's fair. How can you trust Tech at this point? I agree. They do some nice things, and then they do some really bad things with untimely penalties. So, I get it. I agree 100%. And Cal can become bowl eligible. They've got some motivation. So, we'll see. We'll see how it unfolds on Friday night. So, and it's great. You're right. You get to have all day Saturday. Then you get that dreaded 3:00 though, right?
That's the worst because I get there early. So it's like, okay, I get there when the games are starting and I'm leaving and it's like 11:00. It's like all I have is the night, like the Hawaii game at night to be able to catch up on. So woe is me, poor person having to go to a football game all day.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sure people love to hear about that complaining.
All right, brother. Great stuff as always, man. And we'll see how it all plays out. Looking forward to getting your take next week. There's so much stuff going around. I had to ask you about all sorts of different stuff. So
yeah, anytime. I love talking about all of it. I'll have more hot takes after Wisconsin loses 70-0 this week.
It's fast, against Oregon. Okay, all right, yeah, it could happen.
I might fire up the buyout money there. I don't know.
Contributor from Southwest Virginia. Who's
this? It'll be a real big deal. Here's $20. How close does that get you to the $25 million? Is that close?
$20 at a bus ticket. There you go. Yeah. There you go. All right, man. Enjoy the game tomorrow night. I know you will.
All right. Thanks.
There you go. Andy Bitter from Tech Sideline. Follow Andy on X, man. It's great. It's a lot of fun watching him. All right, so I've got more info about what's going on. We've got now 2 feeds going because we've been expanded. So it's just brand new. It popped up today. I wasn't given any forewarning from YouTube. But thank you, Wayne. Coach Omation, he had the best. Yeah, that's it. He says NIL money equals gambling money for a lot of these athletes. That's a great point, man. We don't think about that. We don't think about that a lot. Thanks, Wayne, for showing me what it looks like. I can't see what it looks like, but that's cool. So what it is, we have 2 feeds now that they've created. So you can make a choice on which feed. And what it looks like to me when I watch other shows, what it means is, and it's good news from this standpoint, it now means that the show has been expanded naturally by YouTube because of you, the best audience out there, because of our views and our rewatches. And it's the one metric that continues to just put us in a different, Is that all? I thought that goes out to you, by the way. So it's a new feature. And what it means is we've gotten a lot more people that have been exposed to the show today, because what this technically does, and it's great for sponsors, we are now officially nationally promoted by YouTube. That's what that means. And that blows my mind. That blows my mind. Yeah, it's at Viewpoints today, on what I can see, we've had over 100 and some people in here today. And that's when I knew something was going on, that because usually we're getting a huge rewatch is what we're getting. So that's awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Great stuff there from Andy Bitter. So that's great. That's great. So, yeah, you combine the two different feeds, and that's how many people are watching, apparently. Dwight Vick comes up in about half an hour. We want to thank Family Fencing. They were the first sponsor of this program. Our studio sponsor, 540-200-8294. A no-dig installation system. They're locally owned. They have finance options available. You can get free quotes. And they use all sorts of chain link, vinyl, wood, aluminum. Doesn't matter, residential, commercial, agricultural. And they're going to do your fences. By the way, they're going to do your fences in the wintertime. They're not going to be, knocked off their game by cold weather. Visit Lawson's Mobile Home Supply, 300 North Franklin Street in Christiansburg. Give James a call, 540-381-8011. The NRV Super Bowl has been around for 25 years. Boogie bowling on Halloween, that's my birthday, 9 to 11, only $40 per lane. Reserve your lane now, 382-5525. And we're going to try to get Ronnie Horton on here next week. The professional Ronnie Horton. McClellan Chiropractic chat room's been exploding. A lot of new people in chat. Welcome, those of you across the universe. It's been great. Right off of Peppers Ferry Road over in Christiansburg. Mark is the absolute best, and he'll fix you up good. And we're going to find out from Travis Williams, who went over to become a patient, I guess. I guess patient's the right word for chiropractor. He got his assessment. He's going to go, and he's going to get popped. 38 years they've been doing garage doors. Travis's dad started the business right across from New River Community College. They got hired by Walmart years ago to take care of their doors. They're nationally appreciated, kind of like this show. We're a local/regional show, and now we're nationally appreciated. It's great. National Bank, member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner of BDST on YouTube. I've been with National Bank for 35 years. Lara Ramsey got promoted to CEO. She is outstanding. What a great choice. Brad DiNardo, Lara Ramsey. Oh, yeah. Ryan Pry, the attorney, 701 West Main Street in Radford. Trust and estate planning. BDST fan question of the week. Let me see if any more's come in. Get a lot of messages I got to sift through. I won't have time to look. There's so many messages. Anyway, which is a good problem for you, Travis, professional door. We were down below 30%. People starting to come around on realizing Shane Beamer would not be a good choice. Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg, 540-553-2971. And, of course, we're presented by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. And now that we're nationally promoted, it's going to be heard worldwide about how good these folks are, Jonathan Sweet, and what they're doing, what they're planning for the NRV here. And regionally and nationally, people are going to be attracted to Pulaski County because of their vision. And go see Harvey's GM in Radford. Brad Harvey is the absolute best. And I'm just going to say that, knowing him as long as I've known him, there's nobody else that I would trust to go and find a vehicle for me. And I don't say that flippantly. I don't say that just because he's supporting the program. If you go there, you're going to have a wonderful experience. A wonderful experience. I am proud, by the way, to be part of the Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce. Thanks to Steve for reaching out. And they're going to have Chamber of Commerce Day on Saturday, November 1st for the Louisville game. $25 is all it is, plus fees. And we're going to get those folks on here. I want to promote them more. I want to do more things for them because it's awesome. It's awesome. And I'm honored. I really am. It blew me away that they reached out to me to be part of it. I'm very proud to be part of the Montgomery County Chamber. But you're trying to get a hold of Steve, try to get him on the show. I know he's been busy, so hopefully he'll get back to me here in the next few days. But, yeah, so what we're all dealing with today at once is we're now a national entity. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. When I saw it from Wayne, that's what that is. And we have been promoted. We have been moved up. Because of, well, you, obviously, and hopefully we'll get a lot more subscribers now. Spread the word. Again, subscribe to the channel. It's free. It's very humbling. It really is. Let's go some of the comments. Paul said, wake me up when November ends, talking about Tech and what Andy said. Daniel says, is Ohio State the best team in college football? Yes. Yes, they are. Cal has only really, Tebow. That's good. That's good info. Cal's only given up 4 passing TDs all year. Ooh, we'll keep an eye on that. Paul says, wow. Do you have more people watching than normal? Yeah, we've had like hundreds. I get what I'm getting. So this makes sense now. I'm getting the combined who's watching between the two feeds is what I'm getting on my end. There you go, Wayne. There you go. 40-1, 20. Yeah, then that's what it is. Yeah. So the ones that are in the main feed are still in the main feed. The ones that are watching that haven't ever watched before showing up in the other one. Brandon says that's the first step in Big Dog Sports Talk world domination. Remember, as little people, when you get all famous dating Selma. You mean that woman right there? You mean when I'm dating that woman right there? Oh, really? So each feed has its own chat room. That's interesting. Thanks, Ryan. Welcome, new peeps, Wayne says. Please like it and subscribe. Okay. So I'm seeing, okay, well, that makes more sense. So what I'm seeing is both chats on my end combined. You're seeing it on whatever feed you're watching. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I like the original feed. The other one looks like I'm selling chia pets. Hey, we'll have both feeds going Saturday, I guess. Yeah, freeze warning tomorrow night. Could help Tech. Who knows? They need all help they can get, Tebow says. Zach says, I love the various feeds. Awesome. Awesome. Good stuff. This is cool, man. Morris says you were mass communicating. High times at Ridgemont High. All right. The new feed is Wayne's World Extreme Close-Up. That's great. Jim says, watch out for Cal's number 0 on defense. Yeah, that's the one. That's the kid that Mike Burnett, Jim, talked about. He's pretty good. Wow, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. So, yeah, this has kind of blown me away what's happened to the show today. And, it's strange. I didn't get any kind of I didn't get anything. It may show up later today. I didn't get like a, hey, tomorrow, expect this. Nope. We just did this for you. But, again, I owe it all the time to all the views we get from the show. And the majority of those come when people are going back and watching the show. And I told you the one metric that they kept pointing out to, and I guess that's what's attributed to a lot of this, is when people are going back and they're watching the show, they're watching for 2+ hours. So in other words, you're putting it on in the background. I love being background noise. That's great. I love the show being that. Hoogie Bob says, so do you now have a limo taking you to work at Radford? I'm only going to assume that's coming, right? There'll be like a YouTube. Yeah. Will I soon have a driver? Paul says, Jim, we need to watch any player on the opposing team's defense. Well, there's that. So welcome all new chat room members. Welcome all new viewers. Share, like, subscribe to the channel. We branch out. Of course, we're going to be true to where we are here in our part of the country, but we branch out regional. We can talk about anything. Right? But anyway, we'll figure all this out. I'll get used to it as we go. BDST sponsored by ESPN Sportsbook. Rick, would you honestly like to see Shane Beamer at Virginia Tech? No. You ask, I'm answering. No. That would not work, in my opinion. Maybe I'd be wrong. No. Let's put away all the nostalgia. Let's put it away. VT Hokey Gal. You have troll comments in the other stream. Uh-oh. Some other channels I watch have mods to man the chat and delete troll comments. Okay, that's good to know. Now, I don't know that. I'm only seeing the chat here. So maybe I'm not seeing what's going on in the other one. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. That happens a lot too. Tebow says, good. Me neither. I think the guy is overrated. Yeah, I don't know. I just see everything here that I'm watching on our normal chat. You can see the one popping up down below us, right? So I think as long as you watch the main feed, and those of you who are used to the main feed, you're not going to be affected by it a whole lot. So, but at this point, whatever gets us out there, because it's not the easiest thing in the world. There's things you can, and I'm never going to do that. There's things that you can do to pay for to get your channel out there, I guess, get people to. But I don't have that kind of money, first and foremost. And secondly, I want everything to happen naturally, But I do know once we get to 1,000, if we make it to 1,000, we're good to go for 3 years. Zach says, if Chesney isn't at least seriously considered, it'll be very sad. Yeah, I don't know how you can't. I'm still getting comments. I've had 4 or 5 comments today on Matt Roan's interview yesterday. Okay, Paul says we've gone up to 616, so we have picked up a few. That's great. Naturally, Oakridge Rock, like me and Selma. Yeah, it's just a natural relationship. Tebow says, I'm on the Alex Golesh train. That would be perfectly fine. Yeah, that would be perfectly fine. Now, I know he's had aspirations on bigger jobs. I don't think he's going to be a viable candidate at Florida. Maybe he becomes one. I believe Lane Kiffin is now squarely who they want. Smithfield Bacon, here we come for sponsorship now that we're national. I like Alex Golesh a lot. He's a good coach. I like John Summerall a lot. I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with either one. I have to hit 2 free throws. Yeah, we could do that. Hey, we could do that. I've got enough room down here. I could put up a basket. It'd probably be a Nerf basket. And if I hit 2 free throws, Smithfield Bacon for everybody. That'd be a hell of a promotion here on the show. Let's get it done. Hey, Smithfield people, let's go. I love bacon. I could eat bacon every morning. Hokies Rock, I can't get past Fitzgerald. Yeah, you should. Look, in terms of being a pure football coach, Pat Fitzgerald's fine. But he can't duck what happened at Northwestern. And I just don't think that you can do that if you're Virginia Tech and a must home run hire. You can't bring that baggage here. You can't. I don't care how he explains it away. I don't care how much time has passed. The fact is, it happened under his watch. Some folks just automatically don't show up on lists for a reason, and I think he's one of them. And I'm not commenting on his character, but that was allowed to go on. And he was fired immediately. And I don't know if that's something right now, the environment in Blacksburg surrounding what's going on, I don't know if that's something that they can afford to seriously consider. But I've given you the 3 contact names that I know. It doesn't mean that's all. It doesn't mean anybody's been offered. I like to preface all that. Let's remember, right? Thank you, Jim. Rick is using the development approach to build a solid base for YouTube. Thank you. Well, you know what it is? It's you and our sponsors. It's how I can afford this studio. I think people see you interacting, and you're the central part of the show, and our amazing guests, the people who come on the show. I'm the last part of this show that makes it successful. And I mean that. I am. if you add up all the things, I don't ever look at myself as being the reason the show does well. It's because of you. It's because of our sponsors, and it's because of our amazing guests. I mean, how good is Andy Bidd? We're going to have Dwight Vick on. That's why the show has always worked. This is the third. I'm not going to say this word right. Help me. What is it? Third. I don't want to just say version. I want a bigger word. We had the radio show from 2001 to 2010 when it started because of Ron Walton. Believed me. Believed in me. Somebody just sent me a split screen of me and Selma. That wouldn't be bad right there. Wouldn't have that every day. Yeah, my goodness gracious. Then I went away for a while because I started working full-time at Raptor. I was a little burned out. Third generation, third rendition. Thank you, peeps. Third run. Thanks, Tony. Oh, Brandon, iteration. That's an English minor, you know. Went away for a while. Got approached by the new group down there. Came back for 4.5 years. Started in the middle of COVID. And now this, it's always worked because of you and our guests. And I mean that sincerely. And now here on YouTube, because of the sponsorship help. I love hearing stories, and I've heard from just about every sponsor we've had, actually every sponsor we've had. They're getting response, people coming to them, and it means a lot. It means the world. So thank you. And I mean that sincerely. I'm the last part of why this show works. I am. Just the way it is. Just win, baby. He got 9 digits from it. He would come cheap. More money from coaches. Yeah, I agree with that. That's a great point. He would come cheap, but I don't think he's going to get that chance, Hokies Rock. I don't think he's going to get that chance. Tech does not need drama and controversy surrounding their hire. Correct. Hokie Bob says, soon I'll have an armored car taking all of your cash. Boy, I hope that happens, taking all my cash to National Bank. And that's where it would go. Paul says, Wayne, we do need a win for sure. Talking about Tech. I think after the last 2 coaches. Oh, you're talking about the hire. Okay. We have to have something to cheer about. Yeah. You're going to get a good football coach in Blacksburg. Wayne says it's 90% your Jimbo impersonation. I don't know what you're talking about, Wayne. I don't think anything to do with that. I'd come back and coach for nothing. I'm already making I can take $60 million. Hell, you just hire me. I'll come in and I'll coach for nothing. Just give me the money I need to go out and buy players. You mean like you had at Florida State and Texas A&M, Jimbo? I don't want to talk about all that. It wasn't legal then. Morris is he's on the Jimmy Rogers Washington State train. Yeah, he's a good coach. Following Wake's wake. Natty winner as a player and coach. Wayne says this is the YouTube era for Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift will be a guest on this program next month. Yeah, it's been at 4.5 for a few days now, Jimmy. Yeah. The spread. Tech 4.5-point favorites. Have to ask Marty about that Chad Powers cameo. I don't know what that is. Who's Chad Powers? Is it wrong that I don't know who Chad Powers is? Jimbo will be the next head coach at Tech. I can feel it coming, Tebow says. Oh, I hope so. So then we could have Jimbo on with me and we could both talk like Jimbo. How great would that be? Jason, like the new setup. I didn't do it. YouTube did it. Thank you. I get what they're doing. Now that I've seen it, I know what they're doing now. This is what happens on many of the other things that I watch on YouTube. But thank you, Jason. It's just going to take some adjusting. You now have 2 different ways to watch. It's great. Thank you. Thank you. Look, Tech's going to get a good football coach. I trust Bruce Arians and Bud Foster. I'm not worried about the rest of the committee. I know there's good people on there. I'm just looking at it from a football perspective. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Paul. I didn't get a chance to see it. I'll have to check it out. Chad Powers is the fake football player. Oh, okay. That Eli Manning created, and now Glenn Powell is running on Hulu. Okay. Rodney says you don't need Taylor Swift. No, I do not. No one needs Taylor Swift. Oh, Chad Powers is a TV show. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry. I don't watch a lot of TV. I watch sports on TV, and I watch YouTube. I'll just give them more promotion. That's basically all I watch. I watch YouTube, and I watch sports. I don't know if there's anything. I watch some streaming things when I hear that they're good. Most of the time it comes from you. Okay, so Marty does a cameo. Okay, great. I got to reach out to Marty today. We're trying to get things scheduled for the next Marty and Rags segment. And we may just have a huge sponsorship announcement about that. But we got to get all that organized. A lot happening, man. A lot happening. But this has all kind of happened today. So I appreciate all the new viewers. If people are trolling me in the other chat, okay. I don't care. I'm Rick, by the way. Good morning. This is our great crew. Yeah, we got 2 high school football games tonight. We got the Battle of the Bergs. We got Christiansburg and Blacksburg, and we've got Carroll and Radford. Legal counsel Richie Davis will be there on the sideline. He's part of the coaching staff for the Bobcats. Carroll County's pretty good. That'd be a good game, right? Rodney, that should be a good game, right? The Cavs and the Kitties, that should be a good game. Oh, Chad, Tebow, I love the Austin Powers movies. I do. Yeah, that'd be a good contest. Better get them ready, BDST legal counsel Richie Davis. You better have the Bobcats ready. Got to get back from that Glenver game. Of course, those games got moved, obviously, because Tech's playing on Friday night. So you're going to have the Battle of the Bergs, Christiansburg and Blacksburg. Hey, Michael. Good morning, brother. Hey, we're national now, officially. Yeah, Blacksburg's pretty good, Tebow. I mean, they're coming on. Heck, they put 48 against my alma mater last week. Pulaski County Cougars football is about to have their 5th straight losing season. I can't even wrap my arms around that. I really can't. But that's all I'm going to say about that right now. Who you covering tomorrow, Rodney? That's cool, yeah. By the way, my column in The Patriot comes out tomorrow about all the sports coming together now for more fans to have options and what that means also with the money. Rodney, keep reading my articles. Let me know if they start to really, really, really get bad. I never think any of the things I send in are very good. I think I had 1, maybe 2 good ones. I don't know. I hope they're okay. Oh, Eastmont at Narrows. NARS. Mustangs and Greenwave. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Well, thank you, Rodney. I'll never be the writer that you are or Mike Williams, but I hope it's good and I hope it's entertaining. I hope. I never really know. I hope. I'm going to let DV know he has the invite. So I know a lot of times guests want to know so they can go to their email. So I try to accommodate. Troy's got Pulaski and Salem. Ooh, but yeah, how about that, Troy? Battle of 2-win teams. Pulaski County and Salem. Who would have thought that? That could be anybody's game, right? Tebow says, I just watched the 2001 Cougars play Salem. That team was loaded. Yeah, all of us who are forever part of that program want to see that happening. Tony says wrong. What's wrong, Tony? I don't even know. Update me, Tony. But Roddy, you do a great job covering high school sports. Troy, you do as well. And Mike Williams, the Patriots is a terrific publication. He's kept the whole honor and the glory of the Southwest Times going through the Patriot. Yeah, it'll be anybody's game. Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. If you have two teams that are struggling, sure. You don't know young people's motivation this time of year when your season's not going well, especially in high school. You might have kids on rosters that are looking to play basketball. That happens a lot. I talk to coaches. It happens a whole lot. They start focusing on their next sport. So you got to keep young people engaged as much as you can. Yeah. But I don't know if here locally we understand what I'm talking about here in the New River Valley. We've had the Roanoke Times, and they had so many great writers. And now that paper is just a shadow of its former self. I mean, heck, look, they had Andy Bitter. They had McFarland. Ray Cox, who's still with us. Rest in peace, Randy King. Man, oh man, Randy King. I miss that guy. Jack Bagajic, great writer. Bill Brill. They've had so many people. And locally, man, Dan Callahan set the standard for high school sports coverage. I miss Dan so much. Dan was so much fun to work with. We started the 4th and Goal show. He just anybody who knew Dan, you know what I'm talking about. Just a fun, great guy who could sit down and start talking about high school football like Steve Ragsdale talks about one formational change in the single wing for 25, 30 minutes. Yeah, they can't get down on themselves. It's tough. It's tough for a coaching staff this time of year. It is. Guys, check out. Yeah, Road Times is like the flyer you get in the mailbox now. Yeah. Aaron, he saw what was coming. Now, I don't want to speak on his behalf, but he got a better gig. He's now writing for the top sports card company. He writes the backs of the new cards that you see. Yeah, he creates that. I think Andy's doing some work with him. Chad Hyatt, the best athletic trainer on the planet. Shout out to the Radford High School seniors as the Bobcats take on Carroll County. There you go. We echo that, Chad Hyatt. There are great people that do good things. Chad Hyatt is both. Great person who is the best at what he does. And I mean that sincerely, Chad. Robert Anderson, outstanding, no longer there. Yeah, Robert. Oh, yeah. Can't forget Robert Anderson. You're right, Troy. So AMAC's got a great gig. He's very happy. I'm going to ask him to be a guest on the show. He's just covered up. We're going to get AMAC on to get an update. I miss AMAC. Yeah, I don't know. The last time you've seen Salem struggle like this, I can't even remember it. It happens. It just shows you even a machine program can go down like that. It happens. It happens. But welcome, everyone that's new on the other feed, even if you're trolling in terms of your comments. It's great. And thanks to YouTube for putting us out there. Oh, that's true. Yeah. Mike Nislik, who was part of this show, got the gig covering Indiana, and now here they are, number 2 in the country. Nislik was a good guest. I miss him, but it didn't really work now. Maybe I can catch up with him. We can do, at least if they end up, playing in the national title game, I'll try to get him on. Yeah, I know, Troy. Salem has beaten Pulaski County 16 straight times. I just never thought in my lifetime we'd hear stuff like this. 5 straight losing seasons and letting Salem go nearly 2 decades in dominating that series. Yeah. Todd Grantham and I were talking about that yesterday, matter of fact. He pays attention. If anybody went through that program under Joel Hicks, you pay attention, and you're not pleased. Not pleased. But kudos to you, Tony. I know TP's keeping the booster group going. You're doing a great job, man. What is that, Tony? TD 44, what you guys have going, promoting everything? You're doing a hell of a job with that. I see it everywhere. TD 44 Club. That's what I thought. Great job, brother. Great job. Thanks to all of our sponsors. And you're now everywhere, literally. Thanks to the new adjustment. Travis Williams, Professional Door Incorporated, residential, commercial garage doors. Family owned and operated, 38 years in business, right across from NRCC. Great dude, too. Great guy. Just a great guy. Played for Joel Hicks. Wore the number 56 like I did. And I didn't know that until I went to see him. That was great. I looked up on his wall and said, hey, you got my number. He goes, that's my number. It's actually Lawrence Taylor's number. And we just borrow it. National Bank member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner of BDST. I've been with them for 35 years. Enough said. Pulaski County Sports Entertainment, the presenting sponsor of this program. Now, Pulaski County Sports Entertainment is going to be known even more nationwide. Thanks to Jonathan Sweet and Tim Miller. Little River Heating and Air here in Christiansburg, 540-553-2971. You see the blue and white truck everywhere. You know why? Because they're good. The attorney Ryan Pry. He's now going to get trust and estate planning inquiries from all over the country. BDST fan question of the week. We'll reveal, I'll go through it later today and reveal the final total for you. McClellan Chiropractic. Sponsoring our live chats. Now we have two, even on the trolling side. Thank you, Mark. Family Fencing, very first sponsor. Maybe you'll get fencing inquiries from all over the surrounding country. 540-200-8294, familyfencingnrv.com. They are awesome. Go see Harvey's Gym in Radford. Brad Harvey, bought my last 3 vehicles. I'm going to buy a 4th vehicle from him whenever it's time. It's just a no-brainer. NRV Super Bowl's been around for 25 years. Boogie Bowling coming. Halloween. 382-5525. Go see Lawson's Motorhome Supply. James Lawson, 381-8011, 300 North Franklin Street. Great people. Thank you. Couldn't do the show without all of our wonderful supporters. More to come. More to come. Ryan says, sadly, I'm only licensed in Virginia. Well, maybe they can become Virginians. So Tony says TD 44 Club Monday at 6. Okay. Yeah, go up there and support. Tony, you're doing a great job. Doing a great job. All right. Always a great job and always awesome. See that gentleman? That's Dwight Vick. He is the quintessential source for all things tech football. What's up, DV? Good morning, brother.
What's going on, man? Good morning to you and your crew.
Yeah. It's wild, man, that we got expanded naturally by YouTube because of all the views and watches we get. So we now have 2 feeds. So I didn't know about it until it popped up. So here we are. Welcome,
hey, man. Yeah, it's like an old school 80s video with all the different screens. Like you, what's my guy? Weird Science, the 80s movie.
I love Weird Science. Yes, yes.
Yeah, those guys had all the gadgets creating a female.
That's when they made Kelly LeBrock, didn't they?
Yeah. The 80s was a wild time, man. Last night I was up working late, and I had on my TV. You can't see it. My TV across from my desk here. And Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 came on. And I'm like, Freddy Krueger was a wild guy. I know Halloween's approaching, so I see all these little horror movies popping up. I'm like, the 80s was a wild time. Yeah,
wild time. Okay, along these lines, DV, what is your favorite horror movie of all time? Mine's easy. I love the original Halloween. I think it still holds up. It was the first of its kind. Jamie Lee Curtis, it was the first movie she was ever in. John Carpenter. It's subtly scary, the way they did that. But that's my favorite. I'm going to watch it again here next week. What do you got?
So even though I'm a known, respected movie guy, that's the genre I probably watch the least. So horror is not my thing. But
me too.
If I would choose one, you took one of mine. It's a tie between Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street, only because those two movies are watchable. And they're creative when the early ones with like how it never had been done before. Like Michael Myers, and it's crazy me being a therapist, a guy escapes from a mental institution, which again in the 70s and the 80s, I don't know how many people escape from mental institutions to get his sister. Like he's mad that she's living her best life and he walks slow, but catches everybody. And growing up, I always wondered, there's no way he's no way he's gonna catch me and my boys. But Nightmare on Elm Street's got to be number one for me because Freddy Krueger was so hood, so ratchet with his red and green sweater, the claws only on one hand, but then every now and then he would just come at you with some creative one-liners. Again, the 80s and early 90s, the king of one-liners. When you talk about him, and Arnold Schwarzenegger, all the one-liners, even into the comedy movies. But Freddy Krueger was great. Just the fact that everybody needs to sleep and you want to sleep and get rest, and he comes to you in your dreams.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Mike Myers is funny though, man. I at first I was like, it was like almost like with him and Jason with the mask, but Michael's to me was a little bit more believable until they started reincarnating him. Jason was scary because he also walked slow, Friday the 13th, and it was more believable in the beginning, the first three of them, because you go into the woods camping and some psychopath is trying to kill you with a knife as long as I-81.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
You're right, though. Slow. Yeah, how did he always catch him? How was he always in the right spot? You're right. Yeah,
bro. Different time.
Great stuff, though. All right, well, another week, Virginia Tech. Take the off week last week. All sorts of things going on at the search. You and I talked about it. I'm still not worried about it. I trust Bruce Arians and Bud Foster. I mean, other people on the committee aside, those two guys I know are kind of the football people that are kind of leading this. And to me, that's good enough. I just heard, John Summerall's a guy that there's mutual interest there. He's another name. They're doing what they need to do. He would be a good fit. I know they've made contact with James Franklin. I mean, I know these things are happening because everybody's talking to James Franklin, to be honest with you. But what's your thoughts now, and how you feeling about the search? And do you start thinking about guys you would like to see be that new coach now as we get further along? Or are you just waiting? What was it you said last week? You said you just wanted the best guy,
I wanted the best guy for Virginia Tech, and I don't need the nostalgia of Frank Beamer. I'm ready to move on. I've been ready. I didn't like after 2 years them keeping the number 25 around. If that's the case, you should honor Dooley for some of the things he did. If you're gonna hold on to some legacies, obviously Coach Frank Beamer is a legend. He's an icon, and he deserves every bit of praise he should get. But I just want a guy to come in and really get some discipline and some accountability around this program. I feel like it's been a lot of guys, basically showing up, right? Like when you come to somebody's house and dinner's already made, and it's common courtesy to bring something, some flowers, some wine, a side dish, a dessert. We got guys showing up to Virginia Tech as coaches and some players, and they didn't bring anything to the table. Right. They didn't bring dessert. So I just feel like accountability has been missing. There's been flashes of it, but, tough decisions haven't been made in the administration. And I just feel like, each coach I see out there, here's my take, Rick, and everybody listening and watching on the stream. My take is, when you look at the coaches available, many of them, each one of them have flaws, which we all have flaws. But to me, which one has the least amount of flaws that's going to negatively impact Virginia Tech's football program? Franklin did a phenomenal job at Penn State. If we had Penn State's record the last 12 years, we would be on cloud 50, not cloud 9. We would be
Right.
higher than high. However, Franklin, if you thought Fuente was tough to deal with, Franklin is a tough cookie. Like he's great with the fans. He's great on TV, but he doesn't lack confidence. So is he a good fit in regarding culture and what Virginia Tech's trying to build? Some say yes, some say no. I think he would make Virginia Tech an instant winner because I think he would come in and really trim the fat and get rid of some people hanging on. I think he would call out some stuff. He's not afraid to say stuff in the presser. Him and a guy like Shane, they're going to say what they feel. They're an open book, and they will get nasty, and they will confront certain things in the media. I've always felt Virginia Tech media has been great. There's been a very good relationship with guys like David Till.
Andy, yeah.
Yeah, so they can handle James Franklin, but can everybody, right?
No.
Like he's the kind of guy.
Yeah,
I don't know. And people say, well, what does that have to do with winning games? To me, all of that stuff is correlated because the culture around Virginia Tech is it's a program that has everything you need to succeed. The right guy the wrong guy has not been the wrong guy's been steering the ship. You have the great fan base. You have facilities. You have the money now. You've had money before, but you really got more money on the way. You have a great culture within the college town of Southwest Virginia. You have a lot of things in place that puts you in position to be successful. Witt has been criticized. I see the chat sometimes when I'm watching you, and I see people, that are showing up kind of with the torches and everybody's mad, but Witt has done some good things as well. I mean, you can criticize a lot of ADs. If anything, my only thing with Witt I've always said is I just wish he at times would hold more coaches accountable and not, the timing of some of his pressers. But to me, Witt wasn't on the field mismanaging the clock. He wasn't mismanaging personnel. He wasn't mismanaging the NIL. So again, there's enough blame to go around. I moved past the blame phase. I'm a solution-focused person, as you know. So for me, it's just one of those things, man, where, Mullen could be a good guy. Franklin definitely could be a great guy. Shane is a polarizing figure for Virginia Tech because his last name and kind of how he's doing at South Carolina is intriguing, but he's been kind of struggling to get over the hump, trying to figure things out. But even at South Carolina, their success since he's been there has been better than Virginia Tech's success. I think it would be weird if, on some degree, if Shane came back, because I would be okay with it. He's a friend of mine, former teammate, and I love Shane. I love his passion. I don't know if it would work if he had a 7-6 season or like back-to-back 7-6 or 8-4 seasons. Is the fan base going to be unrealistic about what he brings? I know he's on the name of everybody, or most people that own a committee, because he should be. But I like some of the lesser known guys. I saw you and David talking the other day. I like the JMU guys. And I like the guy at Memphis. And the reason why I like those guys is because a strong contingency of the fan base wants a sexy hire. They want a name, right?
100%.
And I just feel like what made the farmhouse great when I was at Virginia Tech was the customer service, the fact that it was unique to Virginia Tech and the surrounding areas. It wasn't in Northern Virginia. It wasn't saturated. Sometimes when you see mom and pop restaurants start to branch out to other parts of the state and other parts of the East Coast, it just doesn't quite taste the same. And the service begins to take a hit. And I feel like Virginia Tech's brand has taken a major hit because you had too many people that didn't really care about the program and know how to run the program and relate to the community. You had Brian on from Boundary Corner podcast. He stole my point, by the way. And the point he made is this point right here. Fuente came in and he did a pretty good job, at sometimes a great job with the X's and O's, until he started to, as Coach Almation said, then he started to kind of ostracize the state and get his players in. And after those first 3 years, it began to regress immensely. Pride came in and did the stuff that Fuente couldn't do regarding public relations, community service, connecting with the community and talking with everybody and having snowball fights with the core. But when it came to timeouts and roster management and just really making the adjustments, holding drones and other linemen and defensive players accountable, it just didn't work out. And it cost them games, a lot of one-score games. So if you look around, I like what Coach Almation said, and I really respect his opinion because him and Coach Grantham were there for the build. They've both been at places where programs have been built, and I just feel like don't overthink this thing. Fans are going to be mad and happy. I guarantee you, if they get Mullen or Franklin or Shane, if Shane's available, because respectfully, he's still coaching in South Carolina, even though, boy, they got a tough schedule. I said that back in September. There's going to be a contingency of fans that are going to find something wrong with each one of them, right? So you don't make a decision for the fans. You don't choose your girlfriend or you choose your wife based on what your friends say. You got to lay down. That's right. You know what I mean? You choose who you want, what's best for you and your future and your goals. Now, this is not a one-person decision. This is not a relationship where it's just two people. But the relationship regarding the football program, it needs to be a leader, a gentleman that understands how to work the portal, the NIL. I like what David Till said about the JMU connection. JMU, respectfully, God, this is making my stomach hurt saying this. JMU right now and for a while now has been the better program in state.
They've
been the better program. So I hate saying this to my lovely fan base out there, but Virginia Tech fans, you need to humble yourself. Outside of Virginia, we are irrelevant. We are not, other than coming on game day and talking about the money we're going to secure. We are not ranked. We haven't been ranked in forever.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about Friday night between Cal and us, except us and Cal. It's a nationally televised game, but someone that does broadcasting, that's not a game you get excited about. That's what pains me is that I'm glad I'm not on the committee. As strong and resilient as I am, as committed as I am, I'm growing tired of seeing the speculation, the rumors, and wondering if this is going to guy. You know, I see a post on Twitter or I see something on Facebook from credible resources or sources, I should say. And I kind of sit back and I look, I'm like, can I see him in a Virginia Tech uniform? Regarding the headset and the press conference.
Right.
You know, and finally on that point, Rick, is that the great Will Stewart said from Tex Online, he said, you know, last week on your great show, he said, you can have a great search, a great committee, and still hire a dud. Or you can have a great search and a great committee and hire a great coach. To me,
it's hard.
I'm just going to say you hire a guy that not so much just fits, that's obvious, that can coach and develop and recruit. And I don't mean 4 and 5 stars, because there are a lot of 4 and 5 stars. Again, I'm almost text you, but I was broadcasting Friday night. I got in my truck coming from.
I saw that. It's great, man.
I was broadcasting
you got to high school. Yeah.
I was broadcasting the River Bend and Colonial Forge game, and I almost called you because I said once again, Miami. As I'm driving back to Gainesville, Virginia.
I know. I thought about you immediately.
Miami. You do it to me every year. You prove
every
me
year.
Right. Y'all can call me Vick Adamas. I tell y'all every year I call it. And the reason I'm not mocking Miami because right now, man, we're toilet water right now. But what I'm saying is Miami has a lot of 4 and 5 star talent, but Georgia Tech arguably is the best team in the ACC. Okay. Yeah. And UVA, who has been underachieving for 20 plus years, is near the top of the ACC and has a chance to win it. Now, they got some tough ones with Duke and Wake Forest. They got some sleeper games that could catch them. This UNC game is going to be interesting because you can go in there and be sleepwalking because UNC is fighting to stay above water, but, you know, they have nothing to lose. So that'll be a weird game. UNC and UVA have the oldest rivalry in the South, and that's a weird game. But my point being is UNC has money. They got the Jordan brand. They look great if you like that color. And, you know, they had their hire right now seems to be a bad one. But again, it's early being fairly speaking to the Bill Belichick. But I don't know, Rick, my point being is we got to get a coach in here, man. We got to get somebody in here that has a staff that understands, hey, man, this quarterback's not doing, like, for example, I said this to you the last couple of years. Pop Watson, who everybody is a fan favorite, right? Everybody wants to see him play. Here's the deal. Pop Watson is not playing at all because Drones is a starter. However, why not have a red zone package for him from the 20-yard line in? Just to have him, you can throw Drones at receiver real quick, have him come in, do some RPOs. You did it with Bucky Hodges. You did it with Greg Boone. You can do it with Pop Watson. I just don't understand the lack of creativity and innovation with Virginia Tech offensively and defensively. And that's some of the stuff I mean when I look at JMU and I look at other programs that use their personnel to better suit them on game day. And it ultimately results in wins. That's where we have fallen short.
Well, and to your point, it's something Coach Elmasian talked about. Benji Gosnell, who he has a lot of respect for, he thinks he's going to be an NFL mid to late round draft pick. And he says, I don't understand why you're not using the tight end. Where has the tight end gone? You just mentioned those other two guys. Where has it gone over these last few years in the Tech offense? I don't understand it. How many times you watch it every week like I do? How many times do we see tight ends dominate college football games?
Check my tweets. For those watching, I tweeted that back in September, late August. I said, our tight ends have been open for the last 13 years. I think they threw a touchdown. I forgot the name. The kid number 13, Drones did in the red zone.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where you go back historically. I hate doing that because this is a different time. But Virginia Tech was one of the premier programs in using tight ends with the Jeff Kings and the Bob Slokowskis, the Brian
Absolutely.
Jennings. Like they always found, especially when you're a run game type of offense. But I think there's just been a lack of innovation. I think Coach Monty is a good coach. He's got credibility. He's won a lot of games. And I think he's a qualified coach. I just feel like when it comes to sense of urgency, not desperation, there's a difference. Sense of urgency means you coach and you play with something to prove. You understand the assignment. You understand we have to come into this game and open up the playbook. We see a lot of regurgitation, and I'm so tired of hearing the excuse about injuries and guys being out because at the end of the day, we are losing to guys. I remember one year we lost to Maryland. In Maryland, this is back during Beamer's last few years, when a few times we lost to Maryland, Maryland was missing 18 guys due to injury. And they came into Lane Stadium and won at Lane Stadium. And that was a solid Virginia Tech team. Then they won 8 games that year. And I just feel like sometimes you can keep saying something out loud, even though it's legit and it's true, but you start to believe it and you say it so much that it becomes your truth versus something you have to overcome.
Well, I agree. And, they're favored tomorrow night. It might be their last best chance to probably be the last time they are favored in a game. Who knows? But we'll see how they come off the bye week. It should be a big crowd. Cal's coming across the country again. They don't look great. It's a winnable game. How much now? I wanted to ask you this question too, because we know what's going to happen with the coaching change, and nothing's probably going to be announced in December. How important is it for Tech to still get a win or two here and there this year leading into that? Because it's clear they're not going to go to a bowl, and it's clear that they're not going to contend. But how important is it to show up tomorrow night and walk out of there and win that game to kind of keep whatever's going here for this season?
Well, it's interesting because the bowl game streak that died with Fuente, that used to be something to pride. But, I mean, even if the bowl streak was still alive, Virginia Tech and a lot of teams, including Miami, I remember last year Cam Ward sit out the second half or the fourth or third quarter of a bowl game Miami was winning or had a chance to win. These kids don't play in bowl games anymore. I mean, my bowl rings still mean a lot to me, bowl games, but it was harder to get into back in the day. I mean, so even if we were going to a bowl game, I don't even know if that's something I know for, other schools, it is that are trying to build something. But again, even some of your better players opt out now, right?
Yeah.
I definitely think it's important to keep trying to play with effort and win. And I heard you and David say that the other day about, this is Virginia Tech's probably their last best chance to win. Here's the thing. You can take pride in being the spoiler, right? So we talk about teams underachieving. A job that may come opening, and the many jobs, I think David said last year around this time we only had 4 all-year openings. Right now we have several and more on the way. Look at Florida State. I stayed up late the other day because I couldn't sleep because I couldn't believe all 4 of my eyes. I'm watching Florida State lose to Stanford. And I was like, Stanford is terrible. And I'm like, you know what? Florida State, again, kilted in the portal. They had a higher transfer rating than UVA, a team that has a ton of talent, 4 and 5 stars. And they have lost 9 consecutive conference games going back to last year. So whether we play them, I don't know if we played them in Blacksburg. I don't even know. Listen, today's players, respectfully, they check out, Rick. They because they're getting paid and they check. It is not like back in the day when I played the entire spring with 2 broken hands. You and I, right. I tweeted, I played with 2 broken hands in the spring. And I could have got surgery. I said, nope, I taped them up. This is not Deacon Jones era when people were just playing with ear infections.
That's right. That's right.
Guys will sit out for a sore throat now. So I respect the fact that Monty has been able to galvanize the troops. The fact that Caleb Wilson came back and is playing. The kid Noah out of DeMatha, who I was always high on. I'm glad he's finally seeing the field. He was a dog in high school. Caleb Spencer is playing well. The kid Sheldon Robinson, I've known him since he was 7 years old, the safety out of Woodgrove. He's having a good season as a freshman. There's a lot of guys and some pieces there that are playing well. The receiving core is young, but they're playing hard. My thing is, I think Monty and JC and Pearson and those guys have been able to keep guys together. And I feel like Virginia Tech, one thing Monty has done is they played hard. At one point in the second half 2 weeks ago, it was 28-21 Georgia Tech at Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
And that was in the second half. Virginia Tech was within 7. The problem is they just couldn't get a stop. And Georgia Tech is a legit playoff contender. I know they don't look great. They're not fun to watch.
They are.
I know their home crowd is not what they should be, but it's Atlanta. There's a lot to do, kind of like Miami. But I feel like you win Friday, tomorrow night, that's a good win. You're 2-2 in the ACC. You got Louisville coming. Louisville is an interesting team because they gave away one against UVA. I think they gave up 2 defensive touchdowns, which is weird by them. And they're a very good and well-coached team. But, I mean, it's college football. You go on the road. You don't know if it's going to be windy, overcast, raining. I'm not trying to say Virginia Tech's going to upset Louisville. I'm saying that I've been around this game a long time like you have, and I've seen teams like Tech that keep fighting. You much rather play a team not like Virginia Tech than Virginia Tech, and that's because they have nothing to lose, and there are a lot of players playing to prove something. And Monty, to his credit, is still coaching. He's still clapping. He's still in it. He's still running a good practice. He's trying, and there's enough pieces there to make it interesting. I hope they win. I still cheer for them. I still want them to go out. I think it's just difficult because I took a second the other day, Rick, and I said, what a mess this has become. But it's very fixable. It's just, why did you wait so long? You've been driving around and you have this engine light on and you refuse to get this car service.
That's true.
And all of a sudden now you got to get more work done on your vehicle because you refuse to get service. Like, you knew what this was.
That's a great analogy.
Whitney should have been talking to guys back in January behind closed doors, because you knew what it was. Hey, listen, side note, I know we're running out of time. Virginia Tech got a commit from up here in Northern Virginia, where I'm at, South Lakes. So what is that about?
I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. People were talking about, I'm like, yeah, let's just hold off on that. It's great. Let's just hold off on that and see what happens. Yeah.
That's weird, man. I mean, shout out to him, man. I mean, he wants to go. But, they still have about 9 guys committed to Tech. They still have guys committed. And I tweeted about this, but Xavier Debe was in the 757, the Hampton Roads area, recruiting and talking to players. A few fans understand what I meant, but I'm saying that shows you the pride that he has. People say, well, that's his job. You can go down there and drive around and go to Mercury Boulevard and go to a mall and say you went and see a couple of kids.
That's right.
I know he was seeing a couple of kids. One of the kids he saw was my nephew, a 3-star recruit at Bethel High School.
Right.
So my thing is, I don't know if you still come with no coach, but the timing of everything is good. You need to have some wins. Players are still playing for film, because who's going to be here next year? Some of those kids, a few may stay around. A new guy may come in and evaluate your tape and say, I like this guy. Because timing is everything in life, right? So whoever they get has to come in and hit the ground running. The window in the portal is shorter this year, so you don't have much time. So they got to kind of get it done right around the time we're getting ready for the playoffs in college football. It should be on the bottom line as you're watching that break.
Yes, Tech is hired. Yeah.
You'll probably find out before it gets on that little ticker because you're Rick Watson.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. Hey, listen, Saturday night, I'm going live. I already announced it. It's the last Saturday I have off for several months. So we're going to go 6 o'clock Saturday. If you ever want to jump on, if you're getting bored sitting around, let me know. Send me a text. I'll send you an invite. We're going to have peeps on.
I should get a reminder because I subscribe, but shoot me a text because I love talking with you. I can't see it when I'm on, but I watch it. The chat is lovely.
It is.
People, I just love your fan base, even when we were doing radio, because it's great conversation. I hate the fake podcasters and the fake insiders now.
I can't stand
Everybody's got a set of headphones with no credibility.
I know. I hate it. I know.
I mean, the rumors, we might as well name Luke Skywalker as a candidate.
I hear him coming to Blacksburg to interview. Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of dangerous and misleading things. But on a serious note, as we wrap up, man, I really pray this gets right. As I've often said, Virginia Tech is my favorite team, my favorite university, obviously. I cover other schools and other people and players, but for me, it was nice a few weeks ago to watch them beat NC State at NC State. It felt good. It was nice. It was euphoric, and it was a reminder that this program, giving it life and giving it a direction, can be one of the better programs in the country. I don't know if we will get in recent years coming, as far as programs, credibility to the level of Ohio State and Alabama, but that's okay because only one team can win. But with the expansion of the playoff, you get this thing right over the next 4 to 5 years and you win an ACC title and you win 11 or 12 games. I'm okay with that. I'm okay. Yeah. Right now, man, we are so irrelevant right now in a very average to mediocre conference. Right now, Duke and Georgia Tech and Louisville, 3 basketball schools, along with UVA, which you can make an argument of basketball too. Those schools are leading the conference.
I know. So blows you away. Yeah.
Yeah. So
because they've all made the right hires. Yeah. Right. No coincidence. All three. Three.
Hey, real quick. Other than Manny with Duke, all hires that didn't really blow you away regarding appeal and oh my God, because UVA at the time didn't want Tony.
That's true.
They wanted Anthony Poindexter and they wanted the guy that was at Al Golden. Yeah. Yeah, that's what they wanted. I know. So what I'm saying is don't overthink this, guys. Everybody in the room, at the coffee table, the conference table, don't overthink it. Yeah.
I agree. Go to Harrisonburg and you're done. But hey, that's me. That's just me. But all right. Well, great, man. I'll send you a text. We're going to have peeps on. Just fans are going to be part of it. It'll be a great time. We're just going to do it for my final farewell weekend bash on Saturday night. So no Tech game to worry about. They'll play Friday, so we can talk about that. So it'll be great.
Hey, don't say farewell. You're not going nowhere.
Well, I mean, my weekend off farewell until the end of basketball season.
Yeah, it was weird not doing the show with you last year. I felt like I was looking around like Will Smith at the end of the I was looking around my house like, where everybody go, where the furniture go.
It'll be great, man. It'll be great.
Sir.
All right, brother. Thanks as always, man. Have a great rest of your week. Enjoy the game tomorrow.
All right, you too. Thank you.
All right, there you go. Dwight Vick. Great stuff. I'm sure I'll hear from Dwight tomorrow. Yes, David, DV is the man. Great stuff today. Wow, a lot of happened unexpected. I had no idea we were going to be promoted like we were on YouTube. It's great. Wow, blows me away. Anyway, thank you. Thanks to all of our great sponsors. Once again, Family Fencing, McClellan Chiropractic, the attorney Ryan Pry down in Radford, Little River Heating and Air, National Bank, Professional Door Incorporated. Thanks to Harvey's GM, the NRV Super Bowl. Thanks to Lawson's Mobile Home Supply. Who else? Have I left anyone out? I don't want to leave anyone out. Pulaski County Sports Entertainment, the presenting sponsor of this program. Tomorrow's the Finally Friday edition. Will Stewart will have Mike Ashley. He'll have open mic. And Jen with our picks. Everybody enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Thanks for watching. And we will see you tomorrow. Thanks, Wes. Remember, you're the ones who make it great, you and the guests. It's the reason I came back. Thank you so much for your support. And we'll see you tomorrow on the Finally Friday edition, leading you into the Tech game and into the football weekend. So long, everybody.